All right, welcome back to the podcast. Today we have James Ignatowich on. We are in Nashville in a backyard court. Actually looks pretty sweet, pretty fun to film. We've been here making a bunch of content with James and Selkirk. That's been an okay time. I mean, how do you feel about it, James?
I think it's been pretty fun, pretty eye-opening to me just to see, people that are out here making content, you guys, and just to see like, wait, these guys their whole focus is making content, making funny stuff, and I'm already better. So
I was about to say, I was like, wow, he's being very kind right now. I was waiting for...
No, that's genuinely what I was going to say. I was like, this is actually the nicest thing he said the whole time without being...
It still is the nicest thing I've said this whole time.
The nicest thing to you.
The nicest thing to me. I've become just like really the joke bag of everything.
Oh, yes.
I'm like what do you call him on like The Office? Like the Toby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the Toby of the pickleball groups. I just get beat around. But hey, everyone laughs, so it works great. But no, it's good to have you on. For those of you who don't know, James Ignatowich is a pretty established singles player, up and comer in doubles. I mean,
he's all right.
That's at least what he tells us. I don't know. All the other pros tell me they walked over him pretty easy.
Well, I established myself against you two pretty well yesterday.
No, but see,
that
here's
video
the thing.
will never come to light.
No, it will. We got some good aces on him the other day.
This is
Those
true.
will come to light.
No, they played really well. I just want to make this clear now before any videos get deleted that I played Chris and Will at the same time. I only had one serve. They had two serves total. So basically, just to clarify, if I'm going against these two guys at once, I've got to be twice as good as them, right? If we have the same amount of serves. But wait, there's more. They each had a serve. I only had one serve. So that means I had to be 4 times as good. And I still won 11-6, 11-7. So if they delete the video, I don't want it to be like a myth, like aliens, UFO, it happened, it didn't happen, it did happen, right there on that
Some
court.
of you think I won't just delete this off the podcast?
That's true. Yeah, there's a real power imbalance here. This isn't fair.
The content creators are really the ones with the power in this space.
Yeah.
But okay, so the first thing we want to talk about is we have a story. We want you to confirm or deny. We've ran this. We've heard this through other pros. Then
From
we
multiple
asked
sources.
the pro that it involved.
Oh, gosh.
And he confirmed it. And now I want to hear your side of the story. Will, you can tell us the story.
Okay.
God.
Well, you just jump in the train on this one. Okay, so not so long ago, there was a clip where you just got nailed in, I don't know if it was the chest or the throat by Brandon French.
Yes.
So
You remember this.
You remember this. So this is true. Okay, and in the background, you hear Rafa yelling, "Did I freaking hit you?"
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, obviously, that one hit you. So the story goes is that in a previous match, you played against Rafa, and he sped it up or did something at you, and you dodged it. Mm-hmm. But because you like to wear, triple XL shirts or whatnot, it nicked your shirt, and you completely denied that hit you. But Rafa was adamant that it hit you, was talking to the ref or whatever, and you denied it. Mm-hmm. So,
And when we asked Rafa,
yeah.
we said, we thought like, oh yeah, it just nicked his shirt, right? He's like, no, it didn't just nick his shirt. That thing ricocheted off his body.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But clearly, obviously from your perspective at the time.
We only heard one story, so...
Yeah. So what's your side?
Okay, so yeah, this is a great story. So me and Gabe Tardio, second round of the New Jersey APP, we're playing Rafa and Joey Farias. And Rafa had been speeding it up at me all match. I've been countering it right down to, just basically kind of, we're having a
Put
good
him
match.
in his place, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, he's a good kid. He's a hard fighter.
He's a good kid. I bet Rafa's 10 years older than he is.
No, he was playing well, and we get out there, and then he hits a ball, speed up, goes right past me. I don't think it hit my shirt, but it, who knows? Maybe it did hit my shirt, but the only thing we know for sure is that we won the match. And
the only thing that matters.
But Rafa was adamantly believing that it did hit my shirt or even hit me. It definitely didn't hit my chest. I would have felt that. And
that's super funny because he definitely felt like it hit you and then went off.
Let me tell you this. So there was 20 people watching because I think it was 8-7 in the third set. We had the Johnsons watching. There was a bunch of people there, and everyone there said to me, they were like, "That ball didn't touch you." And that's an important factor, but here's the most important factor. The most important factor is that in the finals of MLP about a week earlier, I don't know if you guys know this, but the difference between losing in the finals of MLP and winning MLP is about $17,000. So if
You think
some
he was
random
salty.
guy, just ripped away from my grasp $17,000 in about 30 minutes. I mean, me and DJ won that doubles match. What was it, like 21-12? It wasn't competitive, and it was obviously upsetting to Rafa.
Well, now it's also funny because didn't you get like destroyed in all your other men's doubles matches at MLP?
Yeah, so here's another fun fact. So we were 0-3 in group play.
Yeah.
And then I look over to DJ right before the semis and finals. I'm like, DJ, how much are we playing for again? He looks at me, he's like, 25K. And I'm like,
each.
25K each.
Uh-huh.
We won the semis and finals. We won both of those.
That's
So I was like,
all it
okay,
took.
so I think I kind of forgot. Me and DJ forgot how much it was. I don't know.
Well, you just thought you were playing a rec tournament or something. You didn't even know what you were there for.
But bottom line is Rafa was probably salty about that, rightfully so. I mean, it was 5 days after the final. And so that's what happened. Brandon, he nailed me right in like the upper chest, lower throat.
Ooh.
Did it hurt?
Maybe. I don't remember. I mean, I generally like pain. So I started laughing. That's in the video too. I just started laughing, and it's a fair.
Oh, you did? You started laughing?
Yeah, you
weren't even upset.
You didn't watch the video. You didn't do your homework.
I mean, I've seen the video, but I guess I just don't. It's been a minute. This has been like a story over a month or month and a half now.
Oh, because he doesn't care about you.
Yeah, no.
I mean,
that's to be expected.
James Ignatowich, swipe away. Don't need to see any of that.
I mean, yeah.
But anyway, yeah. All that happened was he hit me. I started laughing, and Rafa was like, "Did that hit your chest?" And it was funny. I mean, I'm not,
Did you think that was funny when he said that?
I thought that was funny too. Yeah, I mean, I didn't have any hard feelings about it.
Okay, so no one was mad.
No, I mean, Rafa might have been a little mad,
Sure.
but for a variety of reasons. I mean, he's
Most likely the money. Is that what
yeah,
James
that's
is saying?
probably what it is. But he won his 25K the season before, or the event before. But no, I started laughing, and John and everybody there, Zane, thought it was funny because like it hit me hard, and I just like laughed and said, "Good shot," which is how it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You shouldn't get upset if somebody hits you. I'm not upset with Brandon at all. I thought it was he tried it 3 times that match. The first time he tried it, he missed. The second time he tried it, hit my paddle, but I missed. And the third time he tried it, he hit me. So 70% of the time he was winning almost. And if he was trying to dink with me, he's not winning 70% of those because I'm a machine. So it's a good strategy for him.
Which is funny that you are becoming such a dinking machine because after playing you just like to hit the ball really hard.
That's just against you because it makes it so easy.
He doesn't hit it that hard. You see the shots I was pulling off against James? I was like,
Will was sending me back.
I feel like you paid him to he just let those shots go so that I feel worse about myself.
oh yeah, this
That
is part
sounds like something you would do.
Oh, definitely. Project Make Chris Feel Bad. I orchestrated this whole entire
week
thing.
is that.
I mean, just so you guys know, this whole trip, James has just been gassing up Will and Kyle pretty much the whole time, and any chance he gets. It's just like, Chris is like one of the worst players I've ever seen. It's like, has no backhand, can't do anything, like, it doesn't maybe make good content. He sounds like this, he's really nasally.
I've been telling you guys out there that he is 3'5" at best, and James is here, and he has just confirmed it. Maybe
Hey,
even worse.
But you know what? Let's
yeah.
tell this on the podcast, because this video will see the light of day. I got 5 points against you in singles.
Yeah, so
I only got 2 on Zane.
no, this is true. So I will admit that I was about to. Okay, so I had just beat them 1-on-2 with one serve, no big deal. And then I look over at Chris on the sideline, and we're about to play singles. And Kyle and Will are like, "Okay, you guys ready to play singles?" And Chris is over there like, "I guess, I don't know." And I see one tear fall down his right eye down to his cheek. He's like, he didn't want to go out there. I look at Will. I'm like, "Will, should I spot him 5?" Will's like, "No way." I'm like, "I'll do it." So I let him. I think he was up like 5-3. And then I had to, no more Toys R Us. Fun time's over for Chris. I won at 11-5. But see, I am a nice guy.
James, eat a sandwich. Very nice.
He's a very nice guy. Oh my goodness.
It was the nicest thing I did all trip.
All right. Well, speaking, we were talking about MLP. How do you feel about, I guess, the breaking news that LeBron and a few other high-profile basketball athletes are getting into pickleball? Yeah,
that's awesome. I mean, in all seriousness, that's super cool because it just brings like so much legitimacy to it. Because before it was like, oh, Drew Brees owned a team, which is great. And it's like some pretty famous people, but like LeBron, that's absurd. He is who better than LeBron to own a team? I can't even think of. I mean, maybe like Messi or something. Like that's just it's
another
unbelievable.
level.
So you see all these people posting it. I mean, when Drew Brees bought a team and Gary V bought a team. Like a lot of people were talking about it, but the LeBron thing, it's getting posted on Instagram pages that aren't even pickleball pages, like just like sports pages, like, oh, LeBron did this, and then people are talking about it. And I bet now I really want LeBron's team to win, because then he's going to post it on his Instagram. It's going to be a huge deal.
So, all right, the question is, if you're not on LeBron's team, I know didn't you say you wanted to be?
Of course I want to be on LeBron's team.
Okay, so if you're playing against LeBron's team, would you give it up just so LeBron's team could win? And
no way. If I'm playing on LeBron's team, I'm going to bring up the 2011 NBA Finals where he choked and had averaged 17 points a game and lost. I'm going to bring everything up. I mean, a 3-6 Finals record. I'm going straight at LeBron.
Not the other team for the podcast. That's the social clip right there. We tag LeBron.
Yeah, I'm going perfect. I mean,
this is how we get you drafted for sure.
Oh yeah. No, I mean,
after you post that, LeBron would never ever recruit James. He's like,
maybe he's like, I like this guy.
Okay, you're right.
Maybe.
You're right.
Well, I am, in honesty, I am a LeBron fan. I think he's the greatest player of all time. So I do. We could cut that part out. Depends on what narrative we want to put out there.
We don't cut anything on the podcast, James. We're only here to make you look bad.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Is it working though?
Yeah. Okay, so tell me, with MLP, I feel like the pros really love the format. It's only a couple times a year. There's a lot of prize money on the line. Do you think, right now with the APP and PPA tournaments, it's a lot of tournaments every month. I mean, you could basically go to one every single weekend. And it doesn't feel like there are any, I know the PPA is trying to do these like Grand Slam events, or they're calling them Grand Slams, but from the consumer perspective, nothing seems any different. It's not like the French Open for tennis or something. Do you feel like it will eventually go to those types of bigger events where like people really want to play this APP or this PPA tournament eventually?
Yeah. So it depends on whether or not you're signed with the PPA. Right. If you're playing a lot of APPs, then the tournament that it is matters a lot because of the points. So as far as like from a consumer standpoint, I don't think anybody cares. If I'm watching a PPA, I don't care. I just want to watch the matchups. But for the players, it matters because the stipends that the APP rewards or awards to players are based on their ranking, based on the best total points of their two best categories. So for me, it'd be singles and mixed, I think. And this tournament in Vegas coming up is like technically a Grand Slam according to the World Pickleball rankings, which is independent of whether the PPA lists it as a Grand Slam or not. So that Cincinnati tournament that they listed as a Grand Slam actually only awards 1,000 points for the World Pickleball rankings. So it's not the same. But this Grand Slam in Vegas awards 2,000 points. So it's an absurd
amount of
disproportionately distributed amount of points.
Wait, who decides what
Let me just tell you this fact, because this is crazy. So if you get fourth at Vegas, you get 600 points. If you get third at Vegas, you get 1,000. But if you get first at for example, the USAP Newport Beach or any of these tournaments where the same players are playing, you get 250 points.
That's
so
ridiculous.
It's crazy. And if you for example, if every main draw win, I think is somewhere in the neighborhood of like 72 points. So if I win 2 matches in main and 1 match in the back, I finish like 8th. That's the same as winning a 250 or getting third place at a 500. So these matches, these big ones matter a ton.
I see. So, and I guess that's really just for the pro player, because from the consumer side, I have no idea what tournament's worth how many points.
Yeah, because nobody's.
And I follow pickleball pretty closely. Yeah. So I can't imagine anyone who's just even more loose, that they know or care.
But who decides which tournaments get a certain amount of points?
So it's weird. The APP is trying to figure that out because the PPA doesn't care. The PPA has their own PPA rankings, and they have their own contracted players, and they do their own seeding, which is another topic. And
let's go into that right after, please.
They do their own stuff, but the APP is trying to figure out how they're going to do some different stuff, and like with the rankings, what rankings they're going to use. So are they going to use the World Pickleball rankings, which is based on pickleballtournaments.com, and it matters because if, let's say, a guy like JW, well, for JW it doesn't matter because he's going to be top 3 no matter what in the points, but for a guy like me, I'm a good example of a guy that's right around like the 8 to 10 range for the APPs. If there's a PPA that the pickleballtournaments.com World Pickleball Rankings lists as a 250-point tournament, the same weekend as an APP that's listed as a 1,000, I'm going to play the APP no matter what, and vice versa. So that's why it matters. But
do you pick your tournaments almost strictly based on points, or not really?
Well, I think that a big part of it is points. So like every tournament I'm playing for the rest of the year is at least worth 1,000 points. Because when I'm in college, it's tough to play all these tournaments. Like, why go to a tournament that's worth 500 points when for me right now, points matter a ton.
Yeah.
For a guy like JW or Zane, it doesn't matter. They're going to be top 3 in APP.
When do the points reset, or do they just roll into the next year, and then after a year from that tournament it drops off, or how does that work?
So this year it works that it's based on a rolling like 12-month basis.
Okay.
So like my tournament I didn't play a tournament last year at this time, but that would just
but if you did, it would be dropping off now. I see.
Yep.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, the whole points thing, I always just, looking at all the different rankings, to me, the rankings feel like they mean so little because you have like 5 different ranking websites or whatever, and you're like
which one
Tyson's
do you care about?
The best over here, Zane's the best at this one, and then everyone knows that, or a lot of people think that Ben is the best singles player. It's just like the rankings from our point of view seem like they mean almost nothing. But clearly in terms of the payouts, it matters a lot to you.
Yeah, that's all it is. I mean, I don't really, and like we were talking about earlier, like if I'm a consumer watching it, I don't really care if this tournament's 2,000 points. I mean, maybe it's a little bit, maybe it matters a little because if you're watching, you're like, oh, these guys really care because there's so many points on the line. But really, it's the PPA players don't care about points, obviously.
Yeah,
and top APP players don't really care either. So it's just guys like, me, like who's around me in the like Julian Arnold, like a Rafa maybe, that type of
Gotcha.
Sure.
Out of the 3, I guess, kind of tournaments or events, PPA, APP, MLP, which one's your favorite? I mean, obviously you're not contracted, right? So you play all 3. So yeah, what do you like?
Yeah, I like that. So obviously like the MLP is the best event for sure.
Yes.
That's not even a question. I only played
agree.
one of those. And I'm a little biased because I didn't
you won
lose.
it.
Yeah. I won. So
25K, yeah, and you didn't do anything.
yeah.
It's true. Wait, it is true?
No,
Explain that.
I didn't do much. So in the semis,
Got carried.
fun fact.
Okay.
Well, okay, so in mixed, I had to play 3 mixed matches, all 3 in group play, and I went undefeated because I'm pretty good at mixed. And so is Jackie. Jackie was a big part of it too because she's really good.
Dude, she's so solid.
Yeah, but like we went undefeated. We weren't even really close to losing, I don't think. But in men's, I went 0-3 just because I'm still trying to figure out how to hit crossword dinks. It's really not my style. I don't think I'm going to be a right side guy in men's. It's just, I don't know, I'm too big. That's more of like a Chris thing, hang out. So,
Hey, you know what? The right side player is the person who makes the left side player look good.
yeah,
I mean,
well,
look at Ben and Colin.
if it was
Ben
my
looks
job
good
to-
because of Colin.
if it was my job to make you look good, I'd be screwed.
So it doesn't matter. Left
I
side,
can't,
right
I can't do
side.
that job.
You and I are going to be
Now
partnering
you know how
on the pro
hard
tour.
my job is when I had to play doubles with him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, put Will on the left. Making him look good is easier than making you look
I don't know.
good.
I feel like we'd win more if we put me on the left.
I don't know how much you're going to win in general. But anyway, so MLP, my favorite event. PPAs are more fun. That's no secret. You go to compared to APPs. MLP is the most fun.
Even as a pro player?
Yeah.
Like, what makes it more fun?
Yeah. So just to clarify, MLPs are above both in fun, every category. Now I'm just going between APPs and PPAs. PPAs are more fun for a couple reasons. The best players are going to be there. Ben's there. Tyson. Tyson's obviously just he's electrifying, everything about him. And you've got Riley Newman, who's my favorite player. All those guys. It's cool to be there around those guys. And the center court vibe is just awesome. They've got Chris Carson, who is probably the key to everything that they do. I mean, you go there and he's a hype. The APP needs a hype man.
Yeah.
If the APP had Chris Carson and the PPA did not have Chris Carson, everybody would be like, oh, the APPs have the best vibe. They've got that center court atmosphere.
Wait. For the audience right now, tell the audience who Chris Carson is for just people who may not know.
Okay, so Chris Carson is the hype man, and I'm sure he's got a variety of jobs, but I know him as like the hype man for the PPA.
Yeah,
he
the
runs
MC,
the
right?
MC. He's doing everything over there. As far as vibe is concerned, it's like that guy, and then Hannah Johns is a great interviewer. She's like super positive, great vibe about her too. But the APP needs a hype man. That's all I'm saying.
All right. We'll let them know you said that.
We'll
send that to the higher ups.
We'll tell Kyle, that pickleball guy. He's like, hey man, you need to reach out to
Yeah.
the APP,
You be a hype
help
guy.
him out.
Yeah, who cares about signing top players? Don't sign Ben Johns. Sign Chris Carson.
Take all that money you would have paid like top 3 players, just give it to Chris Carson.
Yeah, I mean that's
And you'll bring in everyone.
yeah, agreed.
All right.
I love it. So tell us about like singles. Obviously, that's kind of your main event right now. Do you want that to be long term?
Oh, well, I mean, long term, I'm going to play. So
Yeah.
but it's not going to be like my main event long term. Like long term, I want to be the best at all 3, or at least at least competing at the top of all three.
What would your order of priority be? Like, if you had to go, I'm best
question.
at this one, and then it gets progressively worse, what order would you pick?
Mixed.
Mixed
Mixed is
number
my
one?
favorite event. Yeah.
Okay.
Really?
Oh.
Why is that?
Mixed is my favorite, then men's doubles, then singles. And it's different because I think maybe I'm just saying this because I've already had success in singles. Like I won Beer City, I've had some wins. It's like I've already kind of done that, and I haven't done the doubles, so it makes me want it more. Maybe
I see.
But mixed is, in my opinion, so much more fun than singles or men's. It's my favorite.
Is it just because, most of the time men get to play the left side so they get to take all the balls? Is that
Yeah, I mean,
part
I
of
think
it?
in men's I'd play the left side. I'd try to at least play the left side regardless.
Wait, why didn't you get to play left side at MLP?
Oh,
who's
because
your
DJ
partner?
can't play the right.
Why
DJ can't
can't
because
you?
he's not. He's no right side guy. You got to put DJ on the left. His whole vibe, his whole swag is. You can't have that guy on the right side.
Okay, sure. So, like, he's all about left, but who do you think is actually the better left side player between you two?
Oh, probably DJ for the
Yeah?
next couple weeks.
For the next couple weeks?
Yeah, I mean,
Nice.
I'm still figuring it out. Like
That's
I
a
don't
lot
really,
of credit for him. I figured you'd say shorter.
Don't let DJ hear that.
No, DJ right now is the better left side player. I think we played some rec in Newport, tried to put me on the left. It's just not, he's been doing it for longer. He's got more experience. He's got great feel, great dinks, great drops. His drops are really good. And so I'd give him that right now. But what was I saying? Why is mixed my favorite event?
Yeah.
Mixed is my favorite event because I can just kind of let loose, be aggressive. It's the first doubles event that's really come pretty naturally to me. Men's is different because you can't just rip the drive at like a Dylan Frazier and then expect an easy fifth shot drop.
Right.
Like the men have such great hands, but in mixed you can kind of target the woman. You can poach. You can be aggressive. It's just so fun.
It's more dynamic.
And it's physical. Like men's is not physical at all.
What?
No, it's not.
All
You
right,
don't think
explain.
so?
Men's doubles?
Yeah.
Physically tiring. I've never been tired after a men's doubles match in my life. You just hit the drop, you go up there, you hit some dinks, and then somebody pops it up. Like in mixed, you're running around. It's like a mix of singles and doubles.
So basically, what you're saying is that mix is basically you playing singles and somebody else is covering like 25% of the court.
Yes, that's why it's awesome.
Okay.
That's why mixed is awesome. Because it's like mixed is like singles with backup. And singles is
I
singles.
can't wait to see the comments on this podcast.
Oh, yes.
There's going to
It's
be a
true.
lot of interesting
No,
comments
but
on this one.
I would agree. And I think this is why you see those comments, right? Where people are like, why do the men always take over like 90% of the court? Why don't they let the women play? And obviously this
got an
is,
answer for that.
okay,
No,
yes.
okay. Well, actually, let's
ahead.
dive into this real quick because you've played with a lot of women. One thing is you don't see a lot of pros chime in on this topic very often, or at least I haven't seen it. How do you feel the women generally feel about it?
I have never.
The way I see it is they wouldn't, if they didn't like it, they wouldn't do it.
They want it. I've never played a mixed match where the girl has not said to me, I'm going to play the right side, take what you want in the middle, be aggressive, try to target the other female, and just go after it, because it's crazy when people say that the guy in mixed is taking too much court, because what's going to happen if I just play my side and she just plays her side?
You'll never see a ball.
I'm never going to see a ball. They're going to dink every ball to her, and if the other guy plays just his side, if you watch mixed matches from 2016, 2015, before guys started getting really aggressive, the common theme is that the guys were just watching their female partners dink cross court, cross court, cross
Yeah,
court.
pretty
And it's funny
boring.
because if you really look at the stats, you've got to do the stats on this. Aside from when Ben plays with Anna Lee, because Anna Lee doesn't get into a lot of cross court dink rallies, she just speeds it up, tries to get Ben back involved often. But if you look at traditional pro mixed right now, the women are still hitting the majority of the shots. So I'm coming over there and I'm trying to be aggressive, but somebody, if you're in the comments saying, hey, this guy's taking too much court, no, do the math. The guy is still getting less action, because every time, sports are a meritocracy. It's not about, what's fair and nice and what's
Right.
not fair. Go watch an NBA team. Who's
Yeah.
taking the most shots? LeBron.
Right.
They're not letting Mario Chalmers chuck up 30 shots because
right.
it's nice.
Right.
It makes no
Right.
sense. Oh, let's give Mario a chance. No,
You
Mario
should've
gets
seen
cut if
Kyle's
he
face.
misses.
Yeah.
So it's very simple. It's all about if I'm playing with a girl and she's going to get targeted no matter what, I need to step in and help her. So to finally answer your question, I've never had a girl say that I'm being too aggressive, but I have several times have a girl say, hey, can you help me out? Poach more in the middle, be more aggressive. As I was learning the game, they're saying you need to take more court, because I'm going to get isolated. I've got a guy, the girl, speaking from her perspective, the girl typically is going to have a guy in front of her trying to attack her. So it's part of my job to step in the middle and take over and get big in the middle.
Yeah,
Right.
No, that makes perfect sense. And it was very interesting to see because so at the last MLP, I was one of the guys that was collecting stats, and each time for the mixed, I would see the like kill to error ratio for the women's would be very low, like below 1, like they get like 0.86, percent or whatever, and the guys would. I mean, their kill to error ratio is like way above 1. Like I saw Zane or you had like 7 at one time, but
I had an 8-1. I had the highest one.
you had the 8-1. But here's the crazy thing is that if I probably calculated how many touches you got, you probably saw like 8 balls, and you crushed every single 8 of them, and that makes sense. And so when we got the numbers back, when we were looking at, we didn't know how to read the data, and we're like, how does this make sense? Because we kind of deduced that having a kill to error ratio that was around 1 was good. Anything below 1 was bad, but if the women are seeing, 200 balls and you still get 0.86%, that's actually pretty good comparatively. Like, if you put it into context.
Well, you should be missing more if you're hitting more balls.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's hard to say like they necessarily underperformed or performed bad when they see that many. And I think what also makes it tough is when you see these highlights, especially highlights where if there was an overly aggressive male and then they lost the point, it's easy to look at that one point and be like, see, that's why they lost. That's what you always see in the comments.
But
like,
it's not.
If he didn't do that, they wouldn't have lost that point. And sometimes I think there are times where the guy probably oversteps, he gets passed or whatever.
Yeah.
But you need to see the whole match and see how many times that didn't work, because the bulk of the time it probably is working.
Well, I'll tell you this. If you gave me a choice between who am I going to play in mixed, a guy that's going to play on his side or a guy that's going to come over, I'll take, stay on your side, buddy. Yeah, please do.
You'll never see a ball.
Yeah, and look at the best players. Who are the best mixed players? Ben. He takes 105% of the court. Riley Newman is literally all over the place.
I think your math is a little off, but
I don't know how to. It's online school. I don't know, but it's a lot. Ben Riley takes so much court.
That was actually a hilarious clip right now that was happening.
What?
There's an old clip of Riley going around right now, or last week. Yeah, and it was with Lindsay, and she's essentially off the court for probably more of the point than she is on the court. Like she just stood at the net, basically just waiting for an Ernie.
Yeah.
While Riley covered the whole point, and that was actually one where they lost the point.
Yeah.
And people were kind of calling it Riley. And here's what I thought was super funny: people were commenting, and Lindsay like saying how ridiculous the guy, and she would comment and basically be like, "No, I think it's fine," and people didn't realize it was her from the clip. And they'd be like, no, there's no way he should have been doing that. She's like, no, I'm telling you, I'm the girl in the clip.
Yeah, she commented, she's like, you guys don't think me and Riley had a strategy?
Yeah.
And like people were slowly realizing, oh wait, that's the girl in the clip.
Oh my gosh. Now people are just dumb because people are bad at this game.
Yeah, some people.
Hey, whoa. Whoa. I'd be a great mixed partner for you. I could play the female role.
Oh, yeah, I know
you wear
you
a wig and a skirt. I would love.
He doesn't have to wear anything. He's ready for it right now.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'll probably never meet another pro that's this savage to me, so I'll just take it as a compliment. I feel like we've got a good bond.
Yeah.
James
The
is
other pros
prepping you.
probably think this about me, but they just won't say it. James feels comfortable enough to say it to me.
Yep.
So, it's quite the
He's
relationship.
toughening you up, so the next time you play him or anybody other pros, you can just unleash the savagery on them.
He is toughening me up.
Yeah.
So singles, who are some of your favorite matchups?
Well, my
Or just
favorite.
most fun player to play? Doesn't matter if you win or lose.
Well, it's really
just like,
fun.
I like playing
Really
this guy.
fun to play against you.
Oh, I bet it feels really good. But I mean, when I get 5 points, that's probably better than some of the pros you've played.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, I've.
Which are the pros that haven't got more than 5 points? We need to.
Oh, I want to know. I'll tag them.
That happens all the time. No, I mean, it's just anyway. So, my favorite players to play against in singles are probably JW. Who else? Who's fun to play? Zane is fun to play. I think he'll be a little less fun to play when he doesn't have the spin serve. But it was fun to play him when he had it because it's such a challenge to return. Nobody has a serve like that really in the pros that's that hard and that with that much threat of a third shot. So like there's some guys with great spin serves like you, but the third shot probably not going in.
Probably not going in.
I just have to make the return. But Zane, it's like, okay, I gotta have a good return. Zane's gonna rip the pass, and it's tough. I mean, I've played Zane 5 times, and I've won 3 of those. So it's been back and forth. I won the first time. He won the next 2 times. He killed me in New York City, 15-4.
I saw that.
So I was having a tough time reading his serve. He was ripping past. I mean, I played pretty poorly that match. And then Beer City, I kind of figured out how to read where it was going, which doesn't make it easy to return. I mean, even if I know where it's going, it's still
no, but
tough.
it makes it significally easier than guessing.
Yeah, still easier than guessing, but yeah.
So, but you found it fun rather than annoying.
Yeah, it's like a math problem. You got to figure out, you got to solve it. You got to pay attention on the toss.
See, it's funny because a lot of people just don't think that way about the spin serve. They just hate it.
Yeah. So do you like it? Do you hate it? Well, obviously you said that it's fun, but are you glad that that's going to be banned, that it's gone, at least for the pros?
It's tough. I think for the pros, I wouldn't see why it would be banned. I think that it should be, I mean, it's tough because it's like, you can't just not ban it for the pros, but then ban it everywhere else.
Right.
And I think that a lot of people have made some pretty good arguments, which is that if you're coming into the sport and you're 3-0 and you go out there on court for your first time, or whatever you are, starting to play pickleball, and then you go and then Chris is wrecking you, or you're wrecking with a spin serve, it's like, oh, this isn't fun. I want to go home. So that is like a small barrier to entry to playing. So I get that. So it goes both ways. I mean, I don't really have a strong opinion on it.
Well, you also developed a pretty decent spin serve, I thought, when we came through and you showed us.
Please don't give him this credit. Please don't give him this credit.
What, when he aced you? I just got.
I let him ace me to make I needed an intro clip that looked really good. And that's the one we're gonna use.
It wasn't staged.
It definitely wasn't staged, but
no, the thing is that you didn't even need it, because when we played singles and then you were ripping just a regular serve, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is way harder than a spin serve, because you're so tall. It felt like you were just smacking down at the ball.
I will say, as I've gotten to play more pros, so let's see, I've played Susanna Barr, I've played Kyle McMakin, like that was doubles. I've played Zane in singles, and there'll be other ones that come up probably, but I think it's so different than what you see on the screen. I think I've even seen you serve and you did say you've been working on your serve, but I've seen you serve in tournaments and literally thought to myself, why doesn't he hit it harder? Like it would, especially for singles, having a good serve is an advantage. But when you've ripped some of these serves at me,
in
like
person,
that ball is coming way faster than it looked on the stream. Right. Now, some of that I'm sure has been you working on it, but it's just a different level when you actually play a pro. I think you have players who are 4-0 to anywhere up to 5-0 where it's like, oh yeah, like, I don't know, I could probably play against them fine.
Yeah,
like it doesn't look that hard. And then you get on the court, like your forehand and backhand. One, the big thing is the consistency. You rarely miss. Where obviously people at my level, that's how you're winning most of the points, is your opponent messes up.
I think you're just missing first. So
yes. I don't know if anybody told you this, Chris, but pickleball is about getting the ball over the net and into the lines one more time than your opponent.
Now that I know that, I think we need to have a rematch.
Yeah. No, I know what you're saying, because when I was watching pickleball, when I first started, I was watching the pros and I was like, these guys aren't really that great. Like I guess I ended up doing it kind of, but I was like, I could do this. Like these guys are not that good. And then I go and I get there and play against them. I played Gabriel Tardio in practice, like after playing for 2 months.
Yeah.
And you guys know who that is.
Yeah.
Lives right by Delray, and just got smoked. It was like 11-0. And I was like, wow, like
that much? I wouldn't have thought it was like 11. I would have thought you got like at least 5,
2 months
6
in,
points.
just mostly because I was only playing doubles rec. Like my first 2 months, I was just kind of playing doubles rec, having fun. And I was like, wow, like I remember this really vividly because it was like, oh gosh, I'm never going to make it in this pickleball game. Because I asked,
you really thought that?
I swear to. So this is what happened. I asked Gabe, I'm like, so Gabe, like, you've got to be one of the best players. Like, this is absurd. You just destroyed me. And he's like, I'm pretty good, but like, I don't know. And then we're talking about this tournament in Delray that's coming up. I'm like, are you playing that? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, what about this guy, JW Johnson, that I hear of? And then Gabe's like, oh, JW is way too good to play in this. Like, he's way better than me. And I couldn't even comprehend. I'm like, better than you?
Like, I just got pickled.
Yeah.
Better than you, Gabe? That's not even possible. So I was just like,
Gabe.
Yeah, I was just like, I'm not going to make it. I took a couple days off, and I was like, okay, I'll just kind of...
Doctor played his whole life.
Yeah, I'm like, I'll just play rec. I'll be one of those guys, maybe be like a content creator or something.
Hey, you know what they say? If you can't, those who can't do end up teaching.
Yeah. Well, you're also a pretty good teacher, I would say. But wait, did you come from a tennis background?
Yeah, I played tennis at Vanderbilt, D1.
Okay, D1. So...
And I had ATP points in doubles.
Wait.
So I made it just about
really?
as far in my pro career as like Paris Todd did.
Oh,
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, sure.
So what made you switch to, I guess, pickleball? Or did you, when you first saw it, right? Did you think it was stupid or whatnot? Like most tennis
I
players.
thought it was cool.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah.
That's never what a tennis player says.
Yeah, well,
ever.
I was looking at like Zayn and Tyson play, which is like pretty cool matchup because it's like,
Yeah.
you know, that
But
was my
even
first-
then, I feel like tennis players see it and they always say, well, it looks so easy. They're not even hitting the ball hard.
I didn't really think that. I was like, because I knew it was a different ball. I knew it was a wiffle ball, so I'm like, to even hit topspin on a wiffle ball is tough.
Sure.
And I was just like, yeah, that looks cool, and it looks like I wanted to play. I didn't. Yeah, I never really had any. I never
Qualms
thought
about it?
Yeah, no, I thought it was just
Okay.
cool.
Interesting. When you started, because you told me earlier you played tennis with a Western grip, did you try that for pickleball? How long before you realized, okay, I've got to hit this continental or at least Eastern?
Yeah, so the thing is, we talk about grit on paddles.
Right.
My first paddle that I had was this paddle called the Activator, and it was
Oh, is that
19.
the Franklin paddle?
The Franklin wood
Is it
paddle.
Frank? It was
Yeah, it's a-
$19.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
Franklin
it's a
paddle.
Franklin
It has
paddle.
no grit, and I'm trying to hit it with like a semi-western. I'm like, okay, maybe not western, maybe semi-western, and it's just going straight into the ground.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I got to go continental, and it actually worked. I mean, my forehand in pickleball is way better than it ever was in tennis. I mean,
Really?
Yeah, my forehand in pickleball is better than my backhand, but in tennis, it was like the same. Maybe backhand was even better in tennis.
Oh, sure. Well, I will say you definitely, the forehands hit very hard instead of the backhands. Like some shots where I'm like, okay, he's obviously going to go for a passing shot. And it's like, as I'm hitting it, the ball is like already passing me. It feels like. So just for all of you out there who think like, oh yeah, it couldn't be that hard to play a pro. It's not that easy. And the more of them I play,
Yeah.
the more I'm like, wow, I'm terrible at this game.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, that was the impression I got also. I'll give you a break.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. You need to put a counter on the bottom of the screen.
This is getting absurd. I got to stop.
He's actually looking like a dick.
Yeah, I need a break.
But it's all good. No,
It's
Jason's
not
a
always
nice
like
guy.
this off the podcast. I'm really nice to Chris off the podcast. You can, I've never roasted him off the podcast once. Have I, Will?
No.
No.
Never.
No way,
Never.
this is
It's just
just-
another day in the
yeah.
life of Chris Olsen.
Playing the character. Yep.
Wait. So you played both at a pretty high level. What would you say is more tiresome? Pickleball or tennis? Let's start with singles, like pickleball.
Yeah.
Singles.
So it's pretty simple. So pickleball singles is harder than tennis singles for sure. And I played tennis singles at like in relative terms, probably a higher level than I ever have played pickleball singles because I've only been playing
sure.
pickleball for 10, 9, 11 months. In tennis, I played for 15 years. So I was, in basic terms, better at tennis than I currently am at pickleball, which
Yeah,
makes
that
sense.
makes sense.
And still, pickleball singles is harder for sure. I mean, you
Why-
go out
why do
there,
you
you
say
play
that?
5-6 matches in a day.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's so physically draining. And I'm in better shape now than I ever was when I played tennis.
Wow.
But doubles tennis is not hard, and doubles pickleball is not hard, like on the body.
Do you feel like the points last longer in tennis singles or pickleball singles?
In tennis singles, they last longer.
They
but
last
it's just in pickleball singles, every time you return, you're guaranteeing yourself you got to sprint up. What is it,
Yep.
like 20 feet to the kitchen line almost?
Sure.
Yeah.
In tennis, it's a lot of just lateral at the baseline.
Yeah, and there's more breaks in between tennis. So
Yeah.
in tennis, you
You gotta
got
lunge.
25 seconds in between the points. In pickleball, it's something like, feels like 10.
Yeah.
It is actually about 10 because oftentimes when I'm watching pro matches or even mine and I'm just editing, I'll hit the button to skip 10 seconds and almost always they're just about to serve the ball, minus a few, random delays here and there.
Not a lot of time.
No, it's not a lot of time between points. And I think in tennis too, I don't know how often at the level you were playing it happens, but with aces, you didn't have to do anything. You missed on to the
next
next,
one.
another 25-second break. You could have, almost a minute of doing nothing, essentially, 2 aces, and they wait the clock.
I'll say this. In my tennis career, and I was in pretty good shape, I could count on 2 hands the times where I either threw up or cramped, just physically ran out of gas and lost because of my physicality not being there. And in pickleball singles, after 10 months of really only 6 months of playing pro, 7 months of playing pro, it's more.
Wow.
So,
Well, I mean, you threw up at a pro tournament recently.
dude, I've done that 3 times.
What?
Really? Who
Wait,
else did
yeah.
you do it against? The first one
Yeah,
that
that's
I
what I
saw
need to
was
know.
Yeah.
Federico.
First one was against Thomas Wilson in Riverland,
Is that the one where you...
where I retired him.
Yeah, you retired him? That's the one, so you threw up and still retired him.
Yeah, that was the last match in singles he ever played, and I think it's probably because that was my first real pro tournament. He plays against a guy that's like the 33 seed, throwing up in the middle of the match, called a medical timeout, and still loses. If I were him, I'd retire also. It's like,
Who was the other one?
the other one was in a The other one was Beer City.
Oh, really?
Nobody knew this, but I threw up in between my semifinal where I beat Federico and my final where I beat Zane.
Okay, so not on the court, like during the match that time.
Yeah, I mean, it was like 5 minutes after the match. Like,
Oh, gosh.
Oh, sure.
So-
So what do you think that was for you? Is it just like what you ate, or what? It's just you're just so exhausted from the heat and whatever.
yeah,
Your
I
body
mean, it
just
was
feels terrible.
one of those times. I think it was because of what I ate. The other 2 times, it was just body being exhausted. I got to get in better shape. But I mean, you see, like when I go out there, like I don't play like J-Dub plays. It's harder for me because I'm going hard. Like every ball I hit, I'm ripping. Like if you look at my footwork, the way I'm moving, like I don't know if I want to say like I try harder, but like I'm just bringing a lot of intensity. Every ball I hit, I'm hitting it as hard as I can.
Do you think in some ways some of the other, like let's say JW or Ben, because they have pretty similar styles, do you feel that they're just more efficient possibly? Like you're wasting some energy that you don't need to?
I think so. And I think that comes with the fact that, I mean, J-Dub's been playing for 4 years? Like Ben's been playing for longer, maybe. So they're just more used to like, they know how to be more efficient with it, I think. And that's something that I got to get better at too.
I see. So, I mean, obviously, you don't want to keep throwing up at these tournaments or whatnot. So, I'm sure that your diet and your training regimen has changed these past couple of months. So, you want to go into a little bit about, how you train?
It's gotten better, yeah. So now I'm doing like 4 times a week, high intensity interval training, like super specific to pickleball stuff, which is good.
Like, what's super specific to pickleball?
Like so like one drill I did yesterday was I'll start at the baseline. I had a tennis court, so I started at the baseline of a tennis court.
Yeah.
Ran up to the service line of the tennis court, and then side shuffle to the left side line, side shuffle to the right side line, side shuffle back to the middle. That's 1 rep. Takes like 10 to 15 seconds. Then 20-second break. Do it again. Do that 10 times. Different like variations like side shuffle sprints, and for like an hour, 4 times a week.
Right.
We'll see if it works. If it doesn't work, then I gotta
You got to switch
do
it up
more.
again.
Yeah.
What do you think? So let's say you had a high level tennis player come in, like, what people keep calling like real athletes or whatever. How do you feel like their conditioning would be? Obviously they are really intense athletes. Do you feel like it would translate into pickleball really well, or they would almost have to be developing new muscles, or like it's just different, right?
Yeah.
How do you think that would go?
I think that's what it is. I think it takes a little bit of time because it's just different movements. Like
Yeah.
every movement in pickleball singles is so violent.
Yeah.
It's all
Yeah, it's
just
a lunge,
it's a sprint.
explosive.
Yeah, exactly. In tennis, it's a lot more flowy.
Yeah.
So we'll see if Sam Querry can play singles. I don't know if I believe in his. Is he gonna be number 1 in the world in singles? I don't think so.
Why is
Well,
that?
Now, for those of you who don't know, and you can probably speak about this better because I only recently learned about who he is, but he's a professional tennis player. He's retiring from tennis, and he's now going full-time pickleball. But what was his world ranking
He was
in
like
singles?
11.
I think 11. His
11?
his best ranking was 11. I forgot how long ago that was.
So here's what we got. So he played in 2017. He got to the semis of Wimbledon, and I think he got to the quarters of the U.S. Open also.
Which year was this?
2017. I think.
17.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
So
Who took him out though?
he's turning 30. I don't know.
Was
Somebody that's not playing pickle, thankfully. But he's turning 35 in October, so not too old. And he is, thing is though, he's 6'6". So he's 11 in the world in tennis, but like at that height, to play singles, like 6 matches, it's going to be tough. I mean, he's surely got the talent for it. And I think he's going to be a really good doubles player. Like,
Oh yeah, with
he
that
could be
reach.
top 10 in doubles for sure. I mean, if he doesn't end up top 10 in doubles, that's just on him. Like, I don't know why he wouldn't be. But in singles, I think he would have the ability to do really well at like a tournament or 2. But to do that week in, week out, I just don't think it's worth it for him. I mean, he's already rich. He doesn't need to be going
Well, now
out
he's just
there.
doing it for fun.
Yeah, I mean, that's not fun. To be 6'6", 35 and grinding down Federico
Hey,
Stack's
maybe, I mean, taking down people
not
like
fun
you,
at all.
I think it might be fun.
It might be fun for his first couple tournaments, but my prediction, I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm just saying that he would just not want, he wouldn't be able to. Like, he would just be like, I'm done. I don't want to do this. It's not worth it for him.
I can't wait to see how this goes because this is a thing that everyone keeps talking about, has been waiting to happen, right? Like everyone goes, we want to see a really true high level tennis player. And everyone's talking about Rafa, Roger, Djokovic. Like that's
not gonna happen.
No, it's never going to happen for sure. But 11th in the world is pretty serious. I mean, you're talking about someone who their whole life has been built around this game. So, and they've trained super hard, whatever. So coming into pickleball, I'm sure all of that training is still going to be there. So I feel like this is going to be a good example of like, well, what does a high level tennis player look like in pickleball? In both.
Well, He did say, right, on Tyson's podcast or the clip, I don't know if you saw it. I'm sure that you saw it. And he was like,
He'll be top 10 in 3 months.
that's what he said. So what do you
think the odds are of that? How likely?
The chances that he's well, I mean, obviously not, because you'd have to get points. Like the building up the points is not possible. But like to be like a
let's
top
just say
10
actual
duper,
talent though.
like in doubles. I don't think so. But apparently he's been playing rec with Wes Burrows for like 6 years.
Wes Burrows is pretty good.
Yeah, so it's like if he's been doing that, I don't know how. Like he's not starting from scratch.
Yeah.
So to be top 10 in 3 months though, like I don't think so.
What did you say to him? I know you responded to him. You must have texted him or DM'd or something.
I don't know. I mean, so this is, I'll keep the. Let's just say me and Sam had a conversation, a quick conversation. I don't want to like talk about what he said because like it's just an Instagram DM. It's confidential. But let's just say the guy's confident. The guy's confident.
I can confirm he's pretty confident.
And that's all I'll say. I don't want to bring anything he said up, but I will say he's confident. And
let me also put it out there. He's confident, but James was more confident.
I was more confident.
True.
Let's just say the last message. I'll say my message. My last message was, Sam, after I'm through with you, you'll be switching to badminton. So he'll be trying a variety of.
You know what I love on both ends of this debate here is Sam is speaking confidence from like wisdom and life experience, and you've got someone over here like a 22-year-old just speaking from like arrogance, like I'm young, I'm gonna take on everyone.
That's not arrogance, that's confidence.
It's not even, honestly, I was just talking crap. I was just like trying to get a reaction. I just wanted him to respond. I just was like, what can I say that's funny that'll get him to at least respond to me or maybe follow me? I didn't get a follow. If I play him in singles, I'm gonna take it to him, and then before the match I'll tell him that if I beat you, you have to follow me back on Instagram.
And then he beats you and he's never gonna do it.
Oh, if he beats me, I don't deserve a follow.
That's fair. That's fair.
Confidence.
I am excited to see him get into it, see how he builds his partners, and I think all of that's going to be.
People are going to be following that story and him through the game, and I think it's more of it is only going to happen. I feel like the future of pickleball are high level tennis players that are just going to be moving into the game.
So what the one thing I'm curious about is kind of the lifestyle of the pro. Obviously, you haven't been really doing this for more than a year yet, but what does that whole lifestyle look? Does all the traveling get annoying? Does it feel like, just want to be home sometimes? The training, do you have days where you're like,
does it feel mundane?
Yeah, like I don't want to train today, but I'm going to do it because that's just what you have to do.
Yeah, but that's easy because, being a tennis player, and let me be clear, tennis in comparison to pickleball sucks. Like, it's not even close. I hated tennis. I liked it for a period of time, but now looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, that was so boring. So now that I play pickleball, which is really more of like a game, it's not like tennis, which is just so repetitive. Pickleball is like a fun game. So there's some days where I don't really feel like doing fitness, doing training and doing stretching, but I have yet to find the time where I'm like, okay, I don't want to go out there and drill this or that. I'm always begging my friends to go out there and drill with me or begging different players. And it's funny because this is an interesting thing. So like in tennis, half the time I was hitting, it was just like I was waiting to be done. And that's kind of like I would feel it when I'm playing, like, okay, I'm almost done. In pickleball, the first time I ever felt that was like in a warm-up in Cincinnati. Like I was tired and I'm like digging. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm actually just kind of waiting for this warm-up to be over. This is so weird. I'm like, wait, what? Oh, I've never played pickleball without fully being in the present moment, enjoying what I'm doing.
Oh, wow.
And that was such a weird experience. I was like, wow, this is really crazy to even, I never thought of it, but it's like, wow, that's true.
Sure. And so you must still be in the stage of like the traveling doesn't really bother you or anything then.
Yeah,
Mostly
the traveling's fun. I mean, I get to go to different places, and I don't really like being at home that much. I mean, I've got, you
guys want to know why he doesn't enjoy being at home very much? He texted me before we come to this trip and he said something, I don't even remember why it came up, but he's basically like, I don't have much furniture. And I was like, you know what? You're just like me when I was your age. Just so you guys know, I'm 26. He's 22. So we're not talking about that big of a difference. But when I was that age and I was dating my now wife, I was basically like, I don't need a couch. I don't need a table. I'm just going to be at my desk all day. I'll eat my food there. I live on my own. What do I need all this stuff for? So I was like, yeah, you and me are pretty similar, James. I show up to this guy's place. He's literally got nothing in this apartment. His living room has absolutely nothing in it. except a TV or computer monitor on a desk, and there's no chair, so I don't even know what he uses that for. And his bedroom.
Yeah, he said, "Come on in, make yourselves at home."
yeah. And then I see his bedroom, and it's just a mattress on the floor. There's no box top. There's nothing. It's just a mattress on the floor. So that's probably why you enjoy traveling.
I mean, I'm dedicated to the game. I don't have time to go buy chairs.
You mean
I
you
have time
can't
to sit down?
You mean you can't afford it with all that MLP money you got?
Oh, I can afford it, but I just can't afford to waste the time. I gotta stay locked in.
He told us earlier he's been adding a lot of guac to his Chipotle orders. That adds up fast with inflation these days.
Every single time.
Every single time.
Pour on the guac.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was definitely a surprise to show up and be like, oh, he wasn't messing around.
Yeah, no, there's nothing in there. And I don't have any plans of getting anything. I think I'll buy myself a chair if we win MLP again.
Just a chair.
just
Will
a
you at
chair.
least get a nice chair? Or are you just talking like a Target, just regular chair?
Just, maybe I'll steal one from this house.
Put a plack on that chair. MLP 2022 Cincinnati.
That would actually be kind of cool.
Or maybe
You can
Columbus,
say,
Ohio.
I got this chair because of this winning this MLP.
Yeah, he doesn't carry trophies. He carries each piece of furniture is tagged to a tournament or an event that he's won.
Yeah, so I've got to earn it.
Yeah,
I don't
you
get any
gotta earn that
furniture unless
chair.
I win.
I love it. So, okay, the next MLP is coming up. We got Columbus. How do you feel going into it? So, with the first one, the last one that you just won, did you feel going into it like, yeah, we can win this?
Yeah, I said it on the podcast. I said if we don't win this, I'm going to be shocked. I said that.
Yeah, he was legit.
Do
Yeah.
you still feel that way with this one?
Yeah. I mean, we won the semis 3-0. We won the finals 3-0. We've got the best team. And
Wait, so going in, like when you saw the teams and whoever, like how everybody drafted, were you just like, no one's going to give us any problems? Like we have
No,
the strongest team for
I
sure.
thought we could have some problems, but I just figured like if we lose, it's just on us because we've got a cheat code of a team. I mean, Anna and Jackie are 2 top 5 women in the tournament, which is a huge bonus. And then you've got DJ, who's like probably a top 10 guy, and then me, I'm just there to kind of bring the hype. Like how
He
could
just
we-
had to look pretty for DJ.
Yeah, I mean that's all I do, and it's basically it's tough because it's like it's tough to beat us because I'm not like a right side guy like maybe Chris is, where it's like you can attack, like you can't like okay you can like I've hit an absurd amount of dinks. Like people are like, oh, make James dink because he's a tennis player coming in. They don't have the dinks, dude. I've got the dinks. Like
I'm a
nobody's.
machine.
I've hit so
got
many
the
dinks.
dink.
I've been drilling for 3 hours a day dinking.
Okay,
Like, I'm out of my
I've
mind.
heard you say this a couple times, like in different things. When you go to drill dinking, what are you specifically working on a certain thing, or are you literally just hitting dinks? Doesn't even matter.
I'm working on specific stuff. So like I would go out there with Dave and I'd have him. So we just do spots because it's easier that way. So like facing the net from the right to the left, there's spot 1, 2, 3, 4. So they're
From the center line?
Yeah, right corner.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this is all at the kitchen line. Right corner, like
Center line.
center line, and then so like I'd have him move me from like 4 to 3, and I go back to him, or like from 3 to 1, just moving. Because like if I can hit dinks on the move that are still low over the net, it's easy to do it stationary.
Do you guys set up targets
Or
that you're
cones.
something trying to hit, or are you
I'll
just
hit it.
picking a spot like I'm just gonna hit to 1 on this one?
Here's is different. Like if you set up a target, you're not have to worry about hitting it. Me, I've got if I set up a target right there, it's gonna end the point every 2 shots. So when I'm over there, it's like we can't. I just have the imaginary target, and But no, I mean at this point I've kind of slowed down all the dinking drills because I feel like I'm nowhere close to where I need to be in terms of dinking.
Yeah.
But I'm good enough to the point where like I mean you saw if you watch the MLP finals,
Yep.
or the semis, I didn't miss 1 dink. I was just putting it back in.
Yeah. Just keeping
And,
the ball in play, let DJ do his thing or
Yeah, like my doubles game isn't even close to where it's going to be or where it needs to be.
Right.
But on the right side, if you give me 30% of the court, I will just make balls, and I'm tough to attack because my hands are fast.
Yeah.
So like you're not just going to like
I
Zane,
can confirm.
I can
They're
also
very fast.
confirm.
Yeah, Zane was trying to rip balls at me, and it's like I was just
Bruh.
like, don't even. What are you doing? You
Why
know?
are you doing that?
Yeah, like sorry, buddy. I mean,
Sorry,
I'll
buddy.
pull up the highlights right now. I can't actually because I was using a Yola. But no. So I'm not like an incredible doubles player. But if you give me 30% of the court, I'm not always gonna. I'm gonna not screw it up.
Sure.
So-
You're just DJ's backup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
So right now, what do you think is missing from your doubles game to elevate you to the same, I guess, successful level of your singles play?
Just more reps and more being more comfortable moving the dinks around, getting aggressive, like a guy that like DJ or Riley or Ben Johns, where they're so like intentional with their dinks.
Yeah.
So they're going to be putting them into specific spots, like just stuff that you don't even really think of. Like if I'm watching stuff that I've been learning recently is like, okay, I wasn't even thinking of this the first time I watched it, but like when Ben and Colin played Riley and Matt,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, well, if we dink middle, it's probably a safe spot because Riley's not always going to speed up with his forehand and Matt's got nothing off of his backhand off the bounce.
Yeah.
And if you look at like Dylan Frazier and J-Dub, when Ben and Colin played Dylan and J-Dub, not in Riverland where they lost, but when they beat them at the Foot Solutions in Arizona, Ben was using the middle dink really effectively because J-Dub's not really going to speed up off the bounce that often. I mean, I'm sure he's got it. And maybe by the end of this podcast, he'll be able to. But
He'll
at that
have
time,
it just because you said this.
yeah, like it's not hard especially for a guy like J-Dub, he could develop it. But like at the time he didn't. And Dylan isn't really speeding it up off of his backhand off the bounce ever. So like just knowing players' tendencies, getting familiar with what makes sense, and then setting myself up, just making a ton of aggressive dinks. Because sometimes my dinks are still a little dead. They still kind of pop up. I just try to push them in.
Yeah.
So just getting really comfortable, kind of playing the kitchen game like it's its own sport. It's a different game where you're
within
just
a game.
Yeah, aggressive, moving the ball around, getting the pop up, speeding it off the bounce. That type of stuff I'm still not. It takes a lot of reps.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
are you aiming like when you're playing doubles, let's say mixed or just men's, where are you dinking to? Are you dinking like closer to their feet, to the back of the line? Are you going really shallow? Because like I don't know, when we're playing doubles against you, I was taught to hit closer to the line, right? And just to make them think like, oh, should I take this out of the air or should I let it bounce? But then for you, I'm like, oh my, you should might hit it kind of deep. It pops up just a little too high, and you're so tall. You're just over there, and you just flick that ball right hit it back at me.
It's tough. It depends. Like in mixed, I'm always going to be dinking deeply. Like if you watch Dylan Frazier play mixed, he's probably the best at this that I've seen, aside out of maybe like Ben Johns or something. But every dink that Dylan's hitting in mixed is like 6 inches past the kitchen line against. And when he's playing a girl, it's like a lot of times he wants the girl to maybe try to take it out of the air, have that be a problem. You're not going to... So when I'm playing mixed, I'm not going to be hitting like dead, short dinks because you want to, when you actually get the ball, to be aggressive with it. And if the girl's in front of me, I'm going to try to hit some deeper dinks because if they speed it up at me, I think that's... I should be at least winning most of those. But in men's, it's different. In men's, it's like a lot... You want to try to make the dink bounce. Because against a guy like J-Dub, or so many guys have great flicks out of the air, it's like a mix because you don't want it to be a dead dink, but you also want it to bounce, and that's tough. And that's why I'm better at mixed than men's because I don't really know. I don't have a great grasp of that. Yeah,
I see.
Interesting.
I see. Do you feel that's how all the other men dink as well?
Or think.
Yeah, I mean Ben dinks pretty aggressively, but he's just so good at it. I mean, he's like,
he's got that scoop.
yeah, he's just
That
absurdly
backhand
good.
Dink scoop thing is ridiculous.
It's crazy. There's different strategies because Riley, a lot of times, I'm sure of this when I've seen it. Like, there's no way he's that bad at dinking sometimes because Riley is giving bait dinks. Like, he wants them to speed it up at him
Like,
because his
he's
hands
waiting
are that
for it.
fast. Like,
Yeah.
I swear he's doing this on purpose. I could be wrong, but it looks like he's feeding you a dink. Like, please speed it up at me, and then he'll just pancake it down.
Yeah.
So,
Interesting.
It's different.
See, and I think that it's so fascinating when you get to the levels,
Yeah, the meta.
higher levels. It's like just all these little things.
Yeah, the
in
strategies and the
any
meta.
of either of our levels, and I would probably say even up to 5-0, probably
Yeah.
even low level pro. But like feeding someone a more dead dink, thinking like I'm ready for the shot that you're about to hit,
Yeah.
is like such an interesting thing because I don't know, maybe they speed it up at your partner and he's not ready. I don't know. There's just a lot of interesting things. You couldn't do that at the amateur level. That's not what you would want to do.
I think at the higher levels, what it sounds like, James, is for the most part, is that the pros are playing like they're playing the other person. Whereas, Chris, when you and I play, we're trying to just play our own game and not mess it up.
Yeah.
You know? And I guess like when James and
I still do that.
You still do that?
Yeah, most of the time, I don't know.
Okay. I was just wondering. I was like, oh my gosh.
You guys want to talk about MLP Columbus?
Yes.
Like
Yeah,
the
please.
groups, like all that
Please.
stuff? Because that stuff's pretty interesting to me.
Let's go.
I know. Let's do it. Who do you
So-
think will give you the most trouble?
Okay, so just for anybody that doesn't know, we are in the toughest group. It's like a death group.
Wait.
So there's us,
Go ahead.
and then there's the bus, which actually has a great team now because they got lucky. They now have 2 number 1 females. They've got Lauren Stratman and Susanna Barr, and their men are no slouches either. They've got Eric Lang, who's a beast. Wes Burrows is also really good. So that team, is in our group.
Oh, yeah, you have the bus. It looks like you have Chimeras and
the Mad Drops.
Mad Drops. Okay.
So the Mad Drops are probably, I mean, they could be the favorite over us. Like, we could easily lose to the Mad Drops. I mean,
Who's on the Mad
So they've
Drops?
got Julian and AJ. So that's two number one guys.
Who are the females?
The females are Mary Brasha and Lee Whitwell.
Okay.
Okay.
So those are two good, they're still good players, and they're still very good at mixed. So that's
Yeah.
going to be a really tough team in mixed. And that's tough. I mean, the Chimeras, that's a good team too, but
Wait, who's on the Chimeras?
I think it's De La Rosa, Gabe Tardio, Andrea Coop,
Oh, okay.
and Megan Fudge.
Oh, okay.
That's a solid team.
solid
but,
team.
But the Mad Drops are very scary, and the bus is also scary. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, and then us, the defending champs. So all three of us. I mean, I think those are three top 5 teams.
Who would you
in
be
one
more
group.
worried about, Mad Drops or BLQK?
Probably at this point, the Mad Drops.
Yeah,
Ooh.
really?
Yeah, I think the Mad Drops have maybe a better team. I mean, I don't know, but I would say maybe the Mad Drops have a better team than BLQK. I
Okay.
mean, Julian is only getting better. Every
Yeah.
week you watch Julian play, he's getting better at doubles.
Yeah.
Julian. Fucking
Yeah,
guy.
AJ is a
Fuel
beast.
me.
AJ is going to be motivated. He knows he can win.
Oh, yeah.
And then Mary Brasha, I just played mixed with. We got 4th in Chicago. That whole tournament, I think Mary missed 3 shots.
Yo,
You know, she's so
Super
solid.
consistent.
You know, so
Yeah.
solid.
Yeah.
Mary is also awesome. Shout outs to Mary because I got a chance to talk
She's
to her.
amazing, yeah, I know.
over at Peachtree, me, Shake, I got to hang out with her, and super cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
Team
seem very
Selkirk.
nice.
She's one of the nicest people. Such a great player. Definitely going to try to get some tournaments with her this upcoming year. So in mixed, she's really good. I mean, I haven't really seen her play women's. I'd imagine she's good at women's too. Lee Whitwell. I mean, she. You know, we're going to definitely try to target her.
Yeah.
No, she's good too.
Tell us how you really feel.
No,
how you really feel, yeah.
Lee's solid. I played mixed with Lee. She's cool too. I like Lee.
Oh, she's super funny.
Yeah, as a person, I like her a lot.
As a player,
but I'll tell
though.
you what though, if she's on AJ's team, I know where I'm going. I'd rather have Lee. You know, I'll say this: Lee's a great player, but if I had 2 options, Lee with like a ball over her shoulder, or AJ from behind the baseline, I'd rather Lee take it. There's not anywhere on the court that I'd rather AJ hit the ball than Lee.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna tell you the truth. I'm going at Lee.
Well, you know what? I like that you're honest.
No, but she's cool. Like the reason I'm saying that is because she's cool. So she's not gonna take it the wrong way.
Gotcha.
I mean, she'd probably banter
well,
back
she knows
with
the
you.
strategy.
Yeah.
She's like,
Yeah.
okay.
So-
well,
She'll say, "I'm gonna hit it to James."
Yeah,
I'm going to crush James back.
Please do.
Yeah, no. Me and Mary actually played Lee and Andre Diescu in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And beat him in a good match though, 15-12.
Oh, okay.
So that's a tough team. Who else? BLQK.
They're the same
They're
team,
the
right?
same team,
Same
and they're
team, yeah.
obviously good. You know they're going to be coming back with a vengeance.
Oh, yeah. They're
Oh,
upset
yeah.
last time.
That's
I
a
really
team.
hope we get a rematch. I'd love to see
Dude,
a final rematch.
I'll tell you what, if we go to a Dream Breaker against BLQK,
Yeah.
that's going to be concerning. I don't want to play them in a Dream Breaker. Who does?
Sure.
Paris?
Sure.
Paris, best female singles player in the world, in my opinion.
Really?
Yeah, I've always said this since she first beat her in San Clemente. I'm like, beat Anna Lee in San Clemente. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I think Paris has better ground strokes. Well, this isn't really a radical take.
Yeah.
I think everybody would think that Paris has better ground strokes than Anna Lee. I mean, Anna Lee is a significantly better doubles player. That's also not a hot take at all.
No, that's not. I don't think that's a hot take.
I mean, in doubles and mixed, Anna Lee is definitely the best.
Yeah.
But ground stroke for ground stroke, I mean, you know what dream breakers are. The guys get nervous against the girls. They don't come in. They just stand back.
Yeah.
And I'd say guys or girls, just ground strokes, Paris is top 10 at MLP for sure.
Okay, sure.
And you got
She doesn't have
Rafa.
the ground strokes that I have. I mean, that's crazy.
I was about to say.
That's crazy. But you know, I mean, Rafa's a great singles player.
Yes,
Zane is
Zane's
obviously the
top.
top
Yeah.
3 guy there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
then-
no,
Arena.
not Federico's there, maybe top 4, but you know, whatever. But no, yeah, Zane is I mean, that speaks for itself.
They
And
have
then
Irina.
Irina can play too.
Yeah.
So we don't want to see them in the Dream Breaker, but hopefully it doesn't get there. Hopefully we do what we did last time, which is smoke.
I want to see a dream breaker. I want to see this all be close. I really
Well,
would
it
just
wasn't
love
close
to see
last
it.
time.
It wasn't
well,
close
it wasn't
last
close
time.
last time, but but we'll see this time.
Okay. All right. So for last MLP, because we were statting it, I remember me and the team, I guess for the audience, and everybody wants a dream breaker. But since we're statting, we're like, oh my gosh, please no dream breaker. So when you guys crushed them, we're like, oh my gosh, yes, our work is done. We can go home now. That's what it felt like.
Yeah, I honestly hope that all pickleball becomes Major League Pickleball. And then like there's some individual point tournaments on the side, maybe like 10 times a year that people actually care about. But I think, just like Rob Nunnery said on Twitter, 100% agree. I think that the team format of pickleball is the future.
Yes.
Because look at other sports. Pickleball is way more of like a different type of, it's a team sport than tennis.
Yes.
Tennis is an individual sport because singles is the only thing anybody cares about.
Yeah.
Same thing with golf. There's no golf doubles. Look at other sports. Baseball, basketball, football, hockey. It's all franchises, teams.
Yeah.
And that's what pickleball is. What generates the most publicity? LeBron buying a team, not Ben
it'll
Jones
just be so
winning a PPA.
interesting to see how it goes, I guess. I just have such a hard time imagining it trickling down to the amateurs where it becomes such a team-based sport instead of like the individual type tournaments. So because I love seeing this MLP stuff and I can't wait to see kind of how it unfolds. I feel like pickleball has so much more to discover what it's going to be, but it'd be such an interesting thing if there was big amateur tournaments where it was team-based.
That's the thing, because it's like for amateur tournaments, for it to be team-based doesn't really make a ton of sense to me.
Yeah.
Because it's, how do you really control that? I mean, for pros, it obviously makes sense.
Yeah, it works great for pros.
But I think one of the biggest appeals, at least from when I've spoken to amateurs about it, one of the biggest appeals about pickleball is that you go to a tournament, you play the amateur event, and then right next to you, peeing in the urinal next to you is Tyson McGuffin.
Yeah.
And that's cool to those people.
Yeah.
Not cool to
Don't
me.
lie, it's cool to you.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
I don't care about
for
that
sure.
guy.
You told me just before this podcast.
No, it is cool. I'll be honest. I checked. But no, just kidding.
You want to be going there and James is peeing right next to you in the urinal. You're like, hey, what's up, Chris?
Yeah, so anyway, that's a weird example by me. But
That
what
is
I'm
a really
saying
weird
is,
example.
what I'm saying is that it's cool for them to, and I don't really know why it's that cool. We're not that cool, but it is cool for some people to be next to the pros.
Yeah.
So if you take that aspect away, maybe there's not as many people watching the major league events. I'd imagine that would be the case. I think most of the fans that watch these pro tournaments are actually just playing the amateur event.
Yeah.
People aren't just leaving their house to go watch pickleball professionally.
No, I mean, most
Yeah.
people say they don't even really enjoy watching it. I find watching it in person to be quite fun, especially when the matches are good, but
on stream.
I just don't watch. Besides the big, the Sunday, Championship Sunday or whatever, I don't really watch Friday. If I hear an interesting matchup or something, like maybe now I might pop in and watch you in singles just so you get beat. I'll be rooting against you in the chat. It'd be real fun.
That'd be hilarious.
That actually would be kind of funny. I might do that.
You can imagine Chris just yelling from the stands, yo, go to his forehand. It's bad.
Or like I'm playing Zane and then like Zane passes me and then Chris comments like, oh, just like me. I've been there.
Honestly,
I've seen
I would.
that.
How do you feel about? Would you like to see chirping in pickleball, like with
Yes.
the audience?
I think that chirping in pickleball would, I'm all for just bringing new viewers to the sport. And it's pretty obvious, like what's going to generate more views? I mean, you guys know that if it's like, oh, just a nice cordial, nice match between James and Will, or like, the caption is mid-match, Will says that he likes James's sister. Whoa! It's like, what?
I didn't even know you had a sister.
It's like, that's going to get views. I mean,
I wasn't even thinking with the pros. I was just thinking the audience like chirping at the play, kind of like you see in tennis or something.
yeah,
Like
I think
serve
for
it
sure.
to his backhand.
I think that should be. I mean, it's tough because you'd have to kind of make sure that it doesn't get too crazy, but I don't think it would. I think it'd be right there. I mean, if there's any like, if Jeff Warnick's out there hammered, like maybe we could tone that down.
that down a little bit.
You took that- yeah.
Like if the audience member is, sane and sober-ish, let it happen.
No, that's why MLP was so cool because the audience is
They are really into it.
They're inebriated while they're yelling at you guys, telling them
Yeah.
to pass and do
Yeah.
whatever, and that's why it's hilarious.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely excited to see because me and Will both be in Columbus, so I think it's going to be really exciting to watch. And this will be my first MLP, so
Oh, you're gonna
kind
have
of get
such
to
a good time.
experience what the whole thing is like and see it. I don't know. It's going to be a blast. I'll be there. You know what? That'll be my first chance I get to chirp at James.
let me say this: are you going to be there too?
Yeah.
Okay, so I am officially allowing. If you guys want to chirp at me, you can. I want it to happen.
Okay.
I want all the chirps.
All right.
That's
You
dangerous.
still have that megaphone? Okay. All right.
Yeah,
You
No,
go
it's
here.
great. I mean,
We
my-
could make such funny Instagram reels of me
Oh, yeah.
chirping at James from the audience.
It'd be hilarious. Like if it's like
What's
me in the
up,
me in the warm up, and like I'm just warming up, so obviously I can hear you.
Yeah.
And like nobody's there, like pre-match warm up. You're
Yeah.
like 5 feet from me, megaphone, James, and I just pretend like I can't hear you.
I don't want to hear it.
I think it would be really funny. Whoever you're warming up with hits a passing shot and be like, just like me last week, 2 weeks ago or whatever. It's just like me.
That'd actually be a really good bit. We should do
no,
that.
it would be. a
no, we're
super
definitely
good
doing
bit.
it now. Gosh, all the other pro players on your team. I don't even know. I don't know if DJ or
DJ would be cool with it.
okay.
I'm going to need to run some paid ads on this podcast just so more pickleball people see it and know that I'm not a jerk and that he agreed to this beforehand.
Yeah,
Wow, that pickleball studio guy really went downhill.
Yeah, I'll play the part like in the post-game interview. Like I have no idea who that guy is. Some sort of crazed fan.
I've never seen him before.
Yeah. Something's wrong with that guy. Somebody send him out.
I want to shout out in one of these post-match interviews. I don't even care what you say. Well, maybe I care a little bit what you say, but
I would like to thank Chris for helping me train and showing me how good that I really am at this game.
Yeah, I'd like to thank all the fans except for that guy. I don't know who that guy is.
I think I heard he has a YouTube channel or something. I don't know. It's probably not good. No, it's good. But no, this is a great episode. It was really fun chatting with you. I don't know if, Will, you got anything else or you, James, that you want to say, but I feel like this was a fun conversation.
Nah, man, no, it was great. Looking forward to seeing you kick some butt at MLP.
I mean, I'm kind of looking forward to if you lost, too. It'd be
Yeah,
You're here for the
fun
drama.
fact, Chris hasn't seen me lose this entire 3 days here. We've played a lot of different games. I haven't lost one game.
Is that true?
1 versus 2. No, I seriously haven't.
I
Wow.
think
I haven't lost a game.
I think we need to take me and Will out of content creator mode. Like if we turn the cameras off, or I'm not thinking about a camera, worried about resetting the timer.
Yeah, you
I
turn
think
off
we
the
beat
camera. I'm pulling out my pickleball paddle and a wrench to break James'
Here's
knees so
the
I can
thing, James.
win.
Here's the thing that you probably don't understand about content creators. We have a lot to think about in our heads while we play someone like you.
That's
Not
fair.
only are we thinking about how to play the game at such a high level because we are really good, but we also have to think like, how do we make someone like James look good while we play?
How about this? I understand that completely. And
Good.
it makes a lot of sense, and it actually explains a lot about your game.
yeah. Imagine if I didn't have
But
a
let
camera,
me just
how
say
good I'd play.
this. So if you're thinking a lot, then we should do this for a bit. I'll play you in singles,
Yeah.
2 out of 3. Will, before each point, will give me a multiplication question, 2 digits by 1 digit. And by the end, in between points, I have to give you the correct answer.
What happens if you don't get the correct
If
answer?
I give you the wrong answer, then I lose the point.
Do I get to just like body bag you or something? You just turn your back and I just hit you with the ball?
Well, I mean, I get the 10 seconds. All I need is 10 seconds. I will be thinking of it while I'm passing you.
I don't think you'd have the answer by the time it landed.
Oh, I'll have the answer.
This whole trip, you've been like, math is hard.
Oh, no, I'll get it done. 2 digits by 1 digit multiplication, that's easy.
Oh my god.
We should do that for a bit. We should actually, because I will get
That would
done.
actually be funny. I don't think you could do it.
I'll do it.
All right,
I will
set
win.
that
We're
up.
gonna do this. We're gonna after this podcast. We're gonna do it. All right. Well, this was great. Thanks for being on, James. It's a lot of fun, and we'll see you in Columbus.
Yeah,
Yep. Thanks,
see you in
Will.
Columbus.
What a podcast episode. Oh my goodness.